is Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It's Throwback Thursday. Welcome to ZiFM Sport. My name is Chris, and you know what we do on a Thursday as usual. Short, sharp, sweet. We speak to your sports stars, get a little bit in depth. How did they get where they are? What keeps them ticking? And today we speak to Zimbabwe's top golfer.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Don't forget to follow and interact with the entire team, and you can do that on @ZiFM Sport, and that is on Twitter and Facebook. I mentioned earlier that we have a top golfer that we are going to be chatting to. His name is Scott Vincent, and he plays on the European Tour and the Asian Tour. He's been doing incredibly well, runner-up 5 times on the Asian Tour, and of course he represented Zimbabwe in the 2018 World Cup of Golf. Definitely our top golfer. What does he get into? What is his life like? How did he even get into golf? Find out more. So Scott, you've been playing golf for a little bit now. How did you actually get into golf and get started? Who introduced you to the game?
Well, it all started with my dad. You know, he's a very keen sportsman, and so he'd always go to the golf club on the weekends, and so he took me along, and that's kind of how my golfing started. But it really kicked off when a coach at Chapman called Roger Bayless took me under his wing and just put a lot of time and effort into me, and that's really where it kind of took off and started going towards the next levels. So I owe a lot of credit to my dad, and definitely a lot to Roger Bayless.
Definitely. So during your school days, obviously I'm sure you were playing golf as well, but did you play any other sport?
Absolutely. At junior school I played any and everything I could get my hands on. And then when I went to high school, I first started off playing a bunch of other sports, but then slowly kind of moved towards more golf, but continued to play field hockey basically my whole high school, except for 1 year in Form 4 when I just had so much golf stuff going on. I just didn't have the time to do that, but continued to play field hockey, you know, lower and upper 6.
So from that playing, possibly from primary school, high school, at what point did you know you wanted to be, first of all, a professional athlete, but secondly, at what point did you think, okay, playing golf is really what I'd like to do for the rest of my life?
For me, that was really in Form 2, so I was 14 at the time.
That was really young.
It was young, but you know, my coach, Roger Bayless, who I mentioned earlier, you know, kind of said to me, hey, you've got a really good shot at making it to college, and then who knows from there. So if you really want to do something like that, let's put the time in, let's work hard together, and let's see where this can go. But you know, he really did believe in me, and you know, really helped me get to college level. And then from there, it was just kind of a matter of sheer will and determination to try and make it to the professional level. So it really did start when I was about 14.
So you make that transition from playing golf locally, you go off to college, you continue playing golf there, and obviously you get the opportunity to start playing alongside some of the top golfers at the moment, your Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau. What were those experiences like for you as this Harare boy who's gone off, he's chasing the dream? What was it like to play alongside those golfers?
You know, it was incredible. At the time, you could definitely see that some of these guys were going to be the next best thing on the PGA Tour. But again, you weren't certain. No one really knows who's going to be the next star and the next big thing. But obviously, when you play with someone like Justin Thomas or a DeChambeau or a Spieth, you can see that there's something different with them, and you can just see that, you know, they've got a really good chance at being a superstar. And, you know, sure enough, they've gone on and done that. But the experience was incredible. You know, you always learn and you're always trying to get better. So watching how they manage themselves around a golf course and just carry themselves, you know, you learn a lot from that. And so, yeah, it was an incredible experience, and hopefully I get to play alongside them as a professional now.
So speaking of transitions, you come obviously from the Sunshine Tour, and now you're playing on the European Tour and the Asian Tour. I'm pretty sure there's some really stark differences in terms of those tours. What are some of the things that stick out for you in terms of Sunshine Tour versus European and Asian Tour as well?
Food is so different when you compare those tours. You know, South Africa is just very similar to Zimbabwe, and you know, what we're used to. And then you go to Asia and language is completely different. The food is so different. But yeah, you just kind of got to embrace those things and enjoy it. And there's a lot to enjoy about the Asian side of things. And you know, I've thoroughly had a good time over there, and the people are fantastic. You know, golfers for the most part are very friendly, so it's a fun sport to be a part of, even though it's so individualized. But outside of the competitive circle, you know, you meet a lot of cool people and a lot of make a lot of good friends, and so that's kind of what golf's about. And you know, I've thoroughly enjoyed that with all the tours, and I've got friends from all over the place. But yeah, there's many differences, but food by far is the one that stands out the most.
So speaking of friendly and interesting people, you and your wife have a very interesting dynamic, in as much as she's obviously your partner in life. Of course, she's also your caddy and obviously contributes quite a lot to your performance. Tell us about what that's like. What's it like working with her and also living with her, and how do you make that balance?
Yeah, I mean, what a blessing it's been to have her travel with me. And I mean, there's not too many wives out there that would be willing to carry a golf bag around a golf course and basically, you know, just work all day trying to make you better and do things for you. So, I mean, I'm very fortunate that the person I married is like that. And yeah, I mean, it's a cool experience. It's definitely helped us get to know each other a lot more. You know, we spend literally every second together, which is amazing at times. But there's other times when it's a little difficult because, you know, there's a boundary there of it being work, and then at the same time, it's also your wife. So you've got to be careful how you tread those situations. But yeah, as a whole, we've thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, there's going to be many more times where we get to spend that time together. So yeah, it's been a blessing.
I'm sure it's been especially a blessing. Just taking a look at 2020, it's been a weird year. It's been a very different year, I'm sure, for all of us. But I'm sure for you as an athlete specifically, I'm sure it's been incredibly tough. So just taking a look at 2020, what were some of the highlights for you? What were some of the low points, and your favorite destination this season?
Yeah, it has been a very weird year, and I think. Yeah, the highlight for sure was getting to play a lot more in Europe, because typically we spend more time in Asia and like Japan. So yeah, getting to travel Europe, getting to see a bit more of Europe and just feel that out a lot more has been incredible. I guess the low point would have been, you know, I was getting ready to try and qualify for the Olympics and looking like I was gonna do it. And then that's kind of being moved to the next year basically meant all the qualification criteria has changed. And so now you're refocusing and re-strategizing to try and make that qualification. And yeah, I think the highlight of the destinations that we've been to, I'd probably say it was Austria. I think that was a really cool place for us to visit. And yeah, just so beautiful. The scenery is incredible. We played this one golf course that was like you're hitting from way high to way down low, and from really low to way high, just so unique and different in that sense. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that one.
So obviously, like we mentioned, like you mentioned, it's been a weird year in terms of adjusting, first of all, your own expectations of yourself. and also just getting back into the swing of things. What's been the most challenging part of the tour for you? And I'm talking 2020, but in your career overall, what do you feel has been the most challenging aspect of the tour?
Just being patient. You see a lot of guys that, have one amazing year and jump and, on the PGA Tour, and that happens every year, and it's incredible to watch. But having the patience to realize that, maybe this is not quite my time, but continue to work and continue to train like it is going to be your year. I've wanted to play at the highest level and wanted to get to the PGA Tour, but it's taking a little longer than I would like. But that's part of the journey and part of my story. So continue to be disciplined and patient in working for that year to happen.
So we're definitely behind you in terms of getting through to the PGA Tour. We know you're going to do it. For us, it's just a matter of time as when you'll be able to do it. But just take us through your training in terms of physically. How do you maintain in terms of working out? Do you have a training schedule? And if you do, what does it consist of? What's a typical day look like for you?
So I'm very fortunate to have connected with a guy in Zimbabwe called Grant Mitchell. So he's been the guy that has been setting all my training schedule and routines. So what an asset it has been to my team, and just incredible guy to work with in general. So a typical day is I'll wake up, let Grant know that I'm up and ready to go, and he will write a workout for me literally every single day. And so at some point during that day, I will go through that workout. On a typical training day, I try and do that first thing in the morning just to get the body moving and get it all ready to take on the day. And so, that's basically how my morning starts, is I will set aside at least an hour to try and do that. After that, have a good breakfast, refuel, and then hit the golf course, and I'll be there until late that afternoon. Come back. If I have enough time, try and do a yoga session to just get loose and just kind of wind down and have a nice dinner, and that's basically it. But it's typically a workout in the morning and then golf in the afternoon, and just nice relaxing evening from there.
That sounds like it requires a lot of discipline, and I'm sure it does. I can't imagine getting off a golf course and then possibly doing some yoga afterwards as well. So well done to you for keeping up with that. If you take a look at a typical Zimbabwean schoolboy at the moment who possibly wants to, schoolboy or girl, possibly wants to go on and become a professional golfer in 2020, what advice would you have for them in terms of transitioning from leaving Zim to going on to playing pro? Absolutely. And there's many opportunities to do that. And I think the biggest thing that it comes down to is just work ethic. You've got to be able and willing to put the time in. I think that's just the biggest kicker in most of life in general. If you're willing to put the hours in, put the work in, get lucky where you have a coach or someone that can certainly guide you and correct a few errors here and there, then you're already halfway there. But one of the nicest things about Zimbabwe is we have arguably the best weather in the world, so you can train 365 days a year, morning to night. So that's a huge blessing that not many of these other countries have. So take advantage of that, work hard, put the time in, and see where that goes. But you definitely need to connect yourself with people like a Grant Mitchell or a Roger Bayless and get some of that outside help that you might be missing. So I would just say you've got to put the time in and certainly believe in yourself and jump at every opportunity you have. So it's doable. Many Zimbabweans have done it, so why not you? So you've pretty much charted us through your journey and your experiences, but we also want to know what's next for you. What can we expect from you in the next year, the next 5 years? What are some of those milestones that you're looking at?
The big one for sure is the Olympics coming up, and that's something that's been on my radar for a while now, because the one before I missed out by one spot. So definitely want to get to the Olympics.
Yeah, that was close. That was really close.
So we're working hard for this next Olympics, but in the meantime, just continued hard work, continued improvement and changes to try and make myself better. And it's very generic stuff, but it's how most sportsmen, I think, treat it. As it's just many hours of repetitive movement, and I'm working hard. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to do the best I can and be the best I can. So yeah, Olympics is definitely the one on the radar, but there's hopefully going to be a few other things along the way too.
So most athletes have, and this is a bit of a wild card question, they have things that they absolutely have to do before they start a game or a competition, like little good luck rituals, as they were. Do you have any rituals when you're on the golf course?
Not particularly. My wife might be able to answer that better than me, but yeah, it's just simple stuff for me. It's a good warm up, a good meal before we start, and I just kind of have a specific warm up routine that I like to go through. And if anything seems to change, I get a little bit anxious or a little agitated because of that. But for the most part, it's just pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that I can think of, but yeah, just typical stuff.
So thank you so much for speaking to us. Before we go, please let us know what your social media handles are.
Yeah, Instagram is Scott T Vino. It should be pretty easy if you just type in Scott Vincent as well, but and then same on Facebook. And I try and post as much as I can. Got to get better at that, but yeah, please follow me, and yeah, would love to chat if you have any questions.
So please make sure you do follow him on Instagram. Are you on Twitter and Facebook as well?
Facebook, yes, not Twitter.
It's a bit of a hectic space, so follow him on Facebook as well and keep in touch. If you do have some questions, do pop him a DM and get those answers. Scott, thank you so much. We know your schedule is incredibly hectic, but thank you so much for speaking to us. And please also pass our regards to Kelsey.
Absolutely. No, thank you for the time and all the best, and hopefully see you guys in Zim soon.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Z.
So share determination, grit, hard work, the importance of having a good team around you. That's the magic formula, according to Scott Vincent. We're going to keep you posted on how he's doing on the Asian and European tour. But coming up next, the Power Play.
Hi, this is Alexandra Maseko, and I'm the national basketball team captain, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Z.
Only DSTV brings you the very best football action. Catch all the action from the most popular league in the world, the English Premier League, with some of the world's biggest stars in Sadio Mane, Harry Kane, Sergio Aguero, and Virgil van Dijk. Catch all the action on the brand new SuperSport Premier League channel on channel 223. We have the world's best football, only on DSTV.
Do we actually have a business model for sport in Zimbabwe? Why hasn't our sporting industry grown compared to our neighbors? And how did we lose the Super Sport deal? We'll be addressing these and other issues this week on Business Unusual with the Sport and Recreation Commission Director General, Prince Mopajiriyo, and the Premier Soccer League CEO, Kennedy Ndebele. And I, Mona Lisa Dube, will be your host this Thursday from 7:30 p.m. on Business Unusual. Don't miss it.